Hey ratbags, it's Jade, welcome to my fishing guide, the ultimate fishing guide. Every single fish caught, every single mission completed, and pretty much every single item you can earn or worth talking about. I'm going to go through all the missions, I'm going to go through all the items and some top tips on completing them all, as well as the aquariums and how to set them up as well. I do want to say a big thank you though to everyone that's enjoying the Skyrim content. We've hit nearly 1 million views with all of the videos that I did. Now it's getting on a little bit, it's nearly 2 months since the game actually came out and you guys obviously enjoyed a lot of that stuff. I am nearly towards the end of the new content and I am kind of scratching around about what to do next with Skyrim. So do leave it in the comment section what you'd like me to cover if it is indeed more Skyrim stuff. Should I start doing countdowns of some of the mods houses? Maybe take a look at some of the more unique quest lines that you can get? Or do you want me to go and do more vanilla lists and more vanilla quests? Let me know in the comment section, but really thank you for all the support. So quick recap, near the Guardian Stones, as soon as you come out of Helgen and you're making your way to Riverwood, you will find a fishing spot just past them on the coast. Here you'll pick up the very first line and lure, which will teach you how to fish as well as a fishing rod. And that's pretty much it. From this point on, if you go to any of the hold cities, major towns, you can find maps that you can buy, or sometimes even just laying around to steal, showing you fishing locations. But pretty much any big body of water will usually have some fishing spots on it, and some of the rivers will also have it as well. You see some splashes when you first go to fish, and that means there's actually fish there, otherwise you'll just keep pulling up random bits of junk if you do run out of fish, which you will do. You then have to wait a whole day for the fish to replenish at that spot. Your fishing rod will jingle, and once it's gone completely taut, press Y or triangle on controllers and you pull up whatever fish you hopefully luckily want. If you notice there's no splashing in the water anymore, that means there's no more actual fish and you'll only pick up junk items from now until you come back 24 hours later. So here is all the items that you can pretty much get while doing the fishing quest lines. There's only 3 rings that I haven't managed to get. They are randomly generated. You've got a chance to find it in the junk pool and it's about 3% chance of finding various different items. Although some of these items you can only get through actually completing quests. The 3 rings that I didn't pick up were Denstagamar's Ring, Mentor's Ring and Ring of the Wind. Later on towards the end of the quest line you'll get the Dwarven Rod and that gives you a 8% chance of finding random good better loot, basically some of the magic rings and stuff, otherwise it's only a 3% chance when you're looting. There's 2 other fishing rods you can get, the Argonian which helps you catch larger fish, and then you've got the Alkiri one which captures smaller fish or more chance. And yeah, someone's already done it, completed Skyrim using nothing but a fishing rod, well done them. On top of the fishing rods there are fishing gear that you can get, a special helmet that gives you more chance of catching certain fish because it makes it rain. The ring of surroundings you get from completing the quest Clear Headed, which is a nerdy one, that gives you 20% extra sneak. The Warlock's ring gives you a ward of 25 points protection, 30% regeneration of your health, and you get to move 5% faster. You get this for completing the no contest mission. The Ring of Fimesta is a random drop chance and it's going to give you basically resistance to magic, shock and poison by 20% extra. The Ring of Hajeet gives you a 10% increase in speed and it will also allow you to use the spell Hide, which pretty much makes you go invisible. This is a quest item which you'll get by completing Spirits Away. Vira's Charm is one of the last that you'll actually earn. It'll allow you to swim underwater indefinitely and add an extra 22 points of health points to your light armor and heavy armor skills. Another one you'll earn towards the end of the game is Linya's Amulet de Bella, increase your skill by 15 points and gives you an extra stamina 40 points. You can also pick up the Vampiric Ring which drains life spell. Both of them items are quest items. And you'll pick up various bits of kit like Ring of Magicka, the Ring of Kainarath which does the same as the Lucky Hat and makes it basically rain. You can also pick up Ring of Surrounded which detects life around you, and a bunch of ancient stuff, axes, daggers, stuff like that as well. 2 of the most unique weapons that you'll get will be the axes. One will give 30 points of fire damage, the other one 30 points of freezing damage. Again, it's one of the later quests that you're going to need the actual Dwarven Rod to get, which you don't get towards the end of the quest lines. You can also pick up the Fang of Hanamakanet, which I said terribly, and this is a nice little blade. I quite like the look of it even if it is a bit basic. 37 points of shock damage and half as much magicka. The 3 rings I never got because frankly I was so bored of doing fishing after 12 hours were Denstagma's ring, which is a random drop, but you will get more if you do use the Dwarven one. That's going to give you resistance against fire, frost and shock by 20% extra improvement. The Mentor's ring, which will give you a 10% reduction in magicka cost. And finally Ring of the Winds, which increases your speed by 15%. All 3 of them are random drops that you can get while fishing. So there we go. I figure it's better to run down that stuff first so you know whether or not fishing will be for you and whether or not you want to go through all the quests. I'm going to show you all of the quests now as well, how to get them, and hopefully do it a bit quicker than I did. But yeah, you also do pick up random bits of helmets and weapons and stuff like that as well. You'll find silver boots and helmets and all sorts of junk which you can go and sell at any merchant or whatever. I've just shown you a shortened little clip of how long it took to get one of the fishes I needed. Literally loads of junk before I finally got something. Now you have got to pay attention when you actually do the fishing quests. Make sure you read the mastery journals that come with it, as I'll explain in the rest of the video, and they will give you hints and clues about the locations and where's the best time to actually get them. You don't generally have to do it by day or night, it just has to usually be clear. And there are lots of spots where you can actually just grab the fish instead of fishing them as well. So let's get into the second part of the video, which I did record before going over this once more. So I might repeat a few of the things that I've gone over. Enjoy! So once you fish for the first time, you should have a quest that will be Angler Acquaintances. You need to head to the fishery in Riften and meet with Swims in Deep Water and Viriya. This is where you'll be given a bunch of quests and bounties to start filling and getting some of these items. The first quest that you might get from Swims in Deep is Catch of the Day, and you pretty much just got to get these fish that you'll find in the lake just at Riften and the river that goes towards Ivarstad. It does have to be a clear day, and also don't forget to read the Fishing Mastery Volume 1. Each one of these books appears after you've done certain quests for Swims in Deep, and they'll give you basically the guide of where to find the fish that you're looking for. Now it is possible to cheat. Sometimes if you see fish in the water, go ahead and scoop them up and you won't actually have to fish for them properly. You're going to need a carp, glassfish, goldfish and pogfish, and some of these only actually spawn in the rivers, so that river that goes to Ivarstead rather than just these lakes. The book will give you what you need to know in terms of where to go, but most of them can be caught in the lake or just that river nearby. One I had a problem with though was goldfish. In the end I remembered that Myra's Pond also has goldfish because I'd come across some of these guys just south of Windhelm, so go ahead and pick some of them there to be really super quick, and then Ivarstad should have the majority of the other fish that you need. I'll bet I didn't get these by jumping in the water, I actually had to fish at the spots just inside Ivarstad and just very close by. German's Hall is just nearby as well, and that's another fishing location where you find a lot of these fish. There's nothing in the Fish Mastery that says you have to get them at day or night time. I'd seen that being put around quite a bit, and I can't really see as that actually being true. Maybe I would have been a bit quicker if I had found that info, but it's not certainly in the Mastery that I could see. Only that some of these fish do like either being out in the water or you'll only find them underground. But the first couple of missions are pretty easy. Catch the Day, return to Swims in Deep, and you'll get the next one. Exactly same locations, but this time you're going to need a little bit of additional help to make it rain. Again, make sure you go and read the Fishing Mastery Volume 2, this will give you the direct locations. And it does seem that if you do swap locations quite regularly, you will normally find the fish a little bit quicker in my experience with it. So, return to German's Hall, and this is where we're going to get Deep in Water's lucky hat, and when you wear it, it will basically make it rain. So you can keep this on all the time if you want it to be always rainy in Skyrim. Once that's equipped, you can go ahead and you'll start picking up loads of different fish. We're looking for catfish, pearlfish, pygmy sunfish and a spadefish in these instances. Just remember, if there's no splashing in the water, then you do need to either change location or wait 24 hours. I did come across the Finesta ring while doing this one, which gave me resistance to magic, shock and poison by 20%, as well as a ring of magicka before finding the spadefish just at Ivarstad and then the final one at German's Hall. Now I don't think you actually need it again properly for any quests or missions, but if you want to actually keep the hat so it rains whenever you want it to, then you need to lie it to Swims in Deep. You keep the hat and it'll give you the Argonian fishing rod, which allows you to swim for larger fish. Little FYI at this point as well, this is where you have to discover the skooma dealer. So you do come across this fishery in the vanilla game when you speak to Vegeta, but she's not actually part of any of the fishing missions themselves. Anywho, sticking with swims in deep water, sometimes if nothing's popping up for him, you might have to wait a day, or you may have to travel to another town to get a letter from a courier to tell you to return to him, as he may have a new mission. The next one up though is Arctic fish. You're going to need an angler larvae, an Arctic char, 1 cod and 1 Arctic grayling. As ever, also make sure you go and read Fishing Mastery Volume 3 to get more details about exactly where they will be found. But pretty much the clues in the title, they're all going to be in cold locations. Pretty much any of the wreckages that you find north of Skyrim, this is where your best bet is to find some of these fish. Also on the docks at Windhelm is also a great another location to find some of these. There was only one that I had problems with, which was the Arctic grayling. So I do think it does prefer it if you go from location to location. And obviously make sure you got the right fishing rod. A lot of these I do believe are bigger fish, so make sure you're using the right fishing rod. If you look at the wikis, they don't actually list sometimes whether or not they're small or large fish, so you kind of have to just judge it for yourself. But yeah, lots of the cod style fish are big. I found the one I was looking for last at Heller's Folly, which is just to the west of the Winterhold College. Completing this will give you 300 gold, and there's also something else you need to know. The Arctic grayling fish, make sure you get at least 2 of them, because you're going to need one for a bounty later on. Or if you've been doing them in conjunction, you've been doing these missions with Swims in Deep and Viriya, one of the other fishery people that I'm going to show you all requests for, she'll actually have the quest for you where you're going to go and hunt down a hawker, which pretty much needs a Arctic grayling. But we'll come back to that in a while. Let's stick with Swims in Deep for now, all the quests. Next one is Underwater or Darkest Depths mission. Streams and lakes underground. As always, make sure you go ahead and read the Fishing Mastery Volume 4. And we need to get hold of a glass catfish, tripod spiderfish, a vampire fish and a diet fish. The Mastery Volume 4 will give you the locations of all the places that you most like to find them, but you have as always got chances to find all of them at maybe 1 or 2 locations. This is Chillwind Depths, just close to Dragonbridge. And this is where I found a vampire fish as well as obviously a dire fish. Next it's up to Embershed Mine, which is just close to the Guardian Stones that you first come across when you come out of Helgen. This is where I found the glass catfish, and I did also find some more dire fish. And then head to Moorfall, and pretty close by you'll find Brood Cavern. Again, as long as you're paying attention, it should be all marked out, or you'll be able to find it using show on map. A few bears outside as you might expect, and there's 3 bears inside, but eventually I'd managed to get hold of my spiderfish, and that was the last one on the list. Your reward, 400 measly gold. Sticking with him, we're going to be doing the Fishing Legend one now, and this one requires you to go and get obviously these ones. We need an angelfish, an anglerfish, as well as a scorpion and a lyre-tail amphius, which I'd already picked up fishing various other places. I got the anglefish directly outside on the docks at obviously Riften. The anglerfish I found in the cold north, pretty much at Orphan's Tier. And then northwest of Markov we went to Darkfall Cave, and this is actually a place where you don't even have to fish. You can just jump into the water, pick up the scorpion fish as well as actually one of the spider tripod fish right at the bottom of the actual ocean. So if you're finding it hard, this is just a quick and easy way to get these ones. Back to Deep Water Dude, and you will pick up a special blade, the Fang of Haina Kadamet. It does 37 points of shock damage and half as magicka, so a decent little one. So after that last mission from Deep Water, you will have to pretty much go and wait a couple days sometimes to get more work or come back to him. He'll give you a couple missions maybe of stocking up, although apparently there are 4 that you might end up getting, and they're pretty random in just basically getting 4 of a type of fish and delivering it to 1 innkeeper around. Once you've done that, there's pretty much only room for 1 more quest with Swims Deep. At this point it can be annoying because he doesn't stay in the same spot the whole time, and there's no marker for him. You have to just keep going up to him and saying if he's got any work. But eventually, hopefully, once you've done a few stocking up missions, you'll get the last one, which is cleaning up. Head to Markov and you're going to be fishing to basically get 4 random pieces of junk, so make sure you go ahead and use the Dwarven rod to pick up them items. It hopefully shouldn't take too long, and then once you've got the 4 items you can go back to the Jarl and he will pretty much give you some extra rewards. I did pick up a special ring there as well, and obviously I've gone through all of the armours and weapons and trinkets that you can get already. Although it's pretty measly, only 400 gold coins. So that's pretty much it for deep water missions. You should have got one of the Argonian fishing rods. That's going to obviously, like I said, help you find larger fish. But I would say get that, then work on Viriya's quest till you get the AQUARIUM fishing rod. And then you can use both of them fishing rods when you need them. Okay, now it's time to deal with Viriya and do all the bounties that she has for us. She has quite a few, and yeah, this is how you get these special axes from these quest lines eventually. But first of all, she wants a juvenile crab, and you should have found one by now if you've been completing all of the Swims in Deep quest lines. I'm sure you've got one, but they can be found pretty much anywhere in the northern areas. The first bounty after that she wants you to look for is a glassfish. You may have picked up a couple of these when you was doing the water one where it was raining. You should be able to find one of these guys at the Half Moon Mill when it's raining, or pretty much any lake or body of water. Once you've got one, you need to head over to Falkreath where you'll meet Zariah. She pretty much wants to stop some of the guards from using skooma. So we're going to go and actually replace what we've got inside our potion that she's made for us with one that the guards normally would take. If we do this for her, she'll give us the Giles ring. Head to the Falkreath barracks and then go ahead and talk to one of the guards who thinks he's getting a pretty good deal. Follow the guard and watch him disappear once he's taken the fake skooma. Your reward is a ring of surrounding, which will give you 20% extra sneak. So another fishing mission you're going to get is helping a little girl in Whiterun look for some goldfish. Speak to Viriya and you should get the bounty goldfish. You'll also get a second one from her after doing this a little bit later on. So go ahead and go to Whiterun. So you will need a goldfish, like I showed you earlier. Go to Myra's pond to pick some up if you didn't pick up any extra spares, and she'll quickly dump the goldfish in the trough just outside her house and you get a gold piece. Pretty flimsy reward, right? Well, don't worry, there will be some extra rewards later on. You'll get a courier letter telling you to go and visit Mila once again. This time follow Mila and again dump another goldfish into the trough and you will get a much better reward this time. She's going to give you the location as well as a key to a strong box filled with some ingredients as well as some more other items. Head up to the Dragon Reach and then just to the left hand side, go up the path through the bushes and eventually you'll find where she's basically had her little hidey hole. You should be able to get into the lockbox no problems, and it's not millions but at least it's something. Viriya's got another mission called Fishing Contest, which has you going pretty much to Morphal and finding a seasoned sea salty character on the pier. Now he'll make a wager with you that you can pretty much can't fish as well as he. I would say use the smallest amount possible. I couldn't remember for sure and I couldn't tell from the footage, but if you go for the big amount you're not going to get it back I don't think, because he's pretty much gonna try and kill you. So you need to follow him, which is just a little bit away from Morphal. In fact, the location is in viewpoint of my watch, which is quite nice. So you can come here and get some fish if you will need some, if you've got that as your home. You may have to wait a few hours or do it near the evening or night time for him to appear. And yep, he'll promptly try and ambush you along with his pals and try and take you down. You can get caught out if you've always got one of your fishing rods as a weapon, so do make sure you've got something else in your hands, as you're going to have a tough time defeating these guys with just a fishing rod. I actually really like the robes that these guys are wearing. I actually like the colour and look of them, so that's something I might keep just to do something with. But you will also get a decent little item from him as well. But you've got to fish it up yourself. He should have a full complete set of fishing gear for you to wear as well, just to get in the roleplay. A few other items like a skull of guardians as well. Fish in the exactly same spot and eventually you'll get this ring. It's not too bad. You generate a ward that gives protection. You'll also regenerate your health 30% quicker and you move 5% faster. Back to Viriya and she'll give you the tale of a crustacean that needs exterminated. Apparently there are some killer crabs going around and I'm not talking about SDIs. Just west of Dawnstar, go to the Windwood Ruins. This is where you can also get the reindeer gear and Father Christmas items, but nearby also you'll find some vampires and they're pretty much defending this area seemingly. This is where you're going to deal with a whole bunch of crabs. Now this is actually pretty challenging. Again, I did have a fishing rod in one hand, just showing you a little bit of what would happen if you took them on with just that, but you do get swarmed by a whole bunch of these massive crabs and some of them are pretty powerful. Keep fighting through the waves and eventually you will defeat them all, and nearby you'll find a little altar. This is also a great way to pick up all sorts of crab meats, legs, which you will also need for a mission later. Once they're all defeated, you should find Sever, a body on the floor that's got a whole bunch of stuff. Make sure you read his journal, and you obviously get some of the other stuff like the Vagrant Hoods, which we saw a bit earlier. So there's a running theme throughout these fishing quests that you get these robes with these gold inlays. There's a little altar nearby with some ingredients on it as well, and inside the hut nearby you find a whole bunch of items as well. There's also a fishing map in this location, giving you an idea of what's around nearby too. So this one's definitely worth doing, lots of little goodies you can get from here. Completing this one gives you access to the AQUARIUM fishing rods, which you'll get from Viriya once you go back to her, and this allows you to capture smaller fish or more chance of getting them. Anywho, next up is Fangtusk. So it seems there's a bloodthirsty hawker running around the coastlines just outside Windhelm, killing all fishermen that get too close, so we're going to go investigate. It's pretty much just outside here on the location here, and this is why it's worth doing this bounty first before handing in your frozen fish, as you can kill 2 fish with 1 stone, or 2 hawkers with 1 fish maybe. He's pretty tough. It turns out he basically swallowed a vampire. He's got a whole bunch of vampire clothing on him, as well as a vampiric ring. The ring will allow you to cast the spell Drain Life. Head to the palace at Windhelm and the steward will reward you with 200 gold. I swear I got more from the 12-year-old kid getting us some goldfish. You'll get to keep the ring at least, and any of the other items that you got from the hawker. Another bounty from Viriya has you looking for some pearlfish for one of the traders inside Riften. You can go to Orphean's Tier here, and you don't have to fish. Just actually go to the little islands slightly northwest of the wreckage and you'll find them in the water. It's pretty quick and easy to get them this way, saves you a whole lot of bother actually fishing. Return to Riften, jump down to the lower decks inside this shop here, and you should get your reward. Another 400 gold for you to put away in your fishy bank. Further studies is complete. Fishing Tutor will have you travelling to Markarth to teach someone how to fish. Head to the inn at Markarth at Silverblood 1 and you should find Linnea in a corner. Once you've talked to her, you then head down to the docks and you pretty much just got to capture 3 fish and she's happy as a Larry Bunny. Now you'll actually get a special amulet from Debaya from her. Increase your speech by 15 points as well as 40 points of stamina, so pretty decent. Viriya now wants you to help out a drunken merchant who somehow managed to lose these alcoholic beverages into a river. Head east of Markarth and then fish at the spot to get free of these special drinks, and that is pretty much it complete. Then simply go close to Markarth just outside and hand them back to the Khajiit and they'll give you a little reward. This completes Spirits Away and you're left with a Khajiit ring that's going to help you move 10% faster, as well as cast the spell Hide, which pretty much makes you go invisible for a few seconds. 60 to be precise. Back to Viriya again, and you're going to start the ultimate feast where you're going to have to cook up 3 fishy meals and deliver them to a patron. Now at this point, hopefully you've got all the fish you need, and it just needs some bare basic ingredients to make crab stew, crab legs or steamed crab legs, and a charred char. So hopefully you kept all of them crab bits from some of the earlier missions that we've done, and obviously you can see they do replenish your health quite a bit more than some of the other stuff, so really good for survival mode. Head to the Winking Skeever in Solitude, place them on the plate, wait for the patrons to come and sit down, and then once they've eaten for about an hour, you'll then get your reward, which is a hefty amount of gold. Slightly unusual number of 334 and a note complimenting the chef on his skills. Completing that will unlock the Dwarven Investigation, and this is where we start to get some decent gear. Beneath Bronze Waters has us pretty much trying to get 2 sunken cores to open up a special chest that's going to give us 2 special axes. So we need first to go over to Bronze Waters. Just west of Windhelm, you'll find a journal and make sure you read that. Then it's off to Alfhand, west of the Winterhold College. Here inside the tower, eventually if you go down far enough, you will find another schematic. This schematic then needs to be delivered to Calcimo and he'll give you a Dwarven fishing rod. You can go ahead and clear out any of them places if you really want to, but I was in a rush so I just powered on through, and yeah, speak to him. It will take 24 hours that you're going to have to wait once you've given them schematic for him to then give you back the Dwarven fishing rod. Then it's back to Bronze Waters to go ahead and start fishing and pick up the 2 cores that you need to put in the special mantles here you can see. Super easy, not many enemies other than a few dwarven contraptions that may pop out the cave once you've put both of them inside the actual waters. The chest that comes out of the waters, you'll find a whole bunch of extra loot in terms of precious jewels or ores, as well as the 2 axes. Erkenhand War Axe of Freezing and Erkenhand War Axe of Fire, and they both do 30 points of their respective elemental damages each. And you can test them out, as I said, on a few of the dwarven contraptions that will pop out just after you pick them up. After a few days of completing that last quest for Viriya, you will receive a courier's letter. So it's usually 2 days, telling you that the crabs have resurfaced and we've got to go back and deal with them. This is the Wave Breaker mission. So we've got to head north of Skyrim once again to the shores, pretty much at Windwood Ruins. And I gotta say, this was a pretty unique, fun mission. Out of all of the fishing missions, this is probably the only one that I really felt was really unique and different and something a bit special. You are going to be fighting off waves of angry crabs. And trust me when I say you don't want to do this just wearing your fishing overalls. They were absolutely owning me. I used up a bunch of my potions, taking them all on, before I finally had to switch to my actual proper gear. And even then, I still had trouble. So yeah, you'll have to complete maybe 2 big waves of them, and yeah, absolutely taking on these giant crustaceans is a bit of a challenge. But it's not over, not yet. Once you go and speak to Viriya inside the shack, the earth will tremble and you are now got to face a giant spectral crab. Again, still pretty challenging. If he hits the ground, you will lose some health, so it's all about just doing this as quickly as you can. You have to actually kill some of the smaller crabs to get hold of some fire pots that are inside them. These only appear, I do believe, on the smaller ones, so make sure you go and check the frenzied mud crabs and then pick up one of the fire pots, head back to one of the catapults, load it up and then go ahead and fire. You can only get one at one time, so there's no point in looting lots of them as far as I could tell anyway, and you've got to hit the crab 6 times. Like I said, this was pretty challenging and that's why I had to switch to my main armor sets just to make sure I wasn't going to lose any more of my potions. But yeah, absolutely the funnest mission that I've had in my 12 hours of completing all the fishing quests. Once you've hit it with the 6th one, it will eventually just disappear. And while you don't get many rewards from Viriya herself, when you go back to the Jarl of the Dawnstar region, you'll end up getting a whole bunch of coins. Obviously you can go ahead and loot any of the guards that got killed in the encounter, as well as some fishermen and a whole bunch of crabs as well. Again, for survival, if you got this far and you're really enjoying the fishing, then you'll love all of these legs, which do give you 12 health for each one. Head to Dawnstar, find the Jarl and you'll get yourself your reward. It's a big amount actually, compared to all the other missions, it's something like 1200 gold coins. Again, you're going to have to leave it a couple more days and eventually you'll get another courier's note saying that Viriya needs your help one final time, the end of the line quest. I swear she must have been making commission off me. I don't know why I need to go and do this stuff, but she basically wants you to craft her some iron fittings, 20 nails and at least 1 lock to bring so that she can set up her own market stall in Riften. In fact, she wants to be a crab seller and study the crabs and not just the fishes anymore. You'll also need 18 firewood, which is a bit annoying as they're pretty heavy at 5 apiece. Hand her all the goods and items and then you've got to wait 24 hours and head to the market in Riften. But for all of your troubles, you're going to get Viriya's Mark, which is a pretty nice necklace. You can swim underwater without drowning, increases your light armor skill and heavy armor skills by 22 points each. So yeah, I think it looks nice at least anyway. And finishing off with just a few notes about the aquariums. You can build these in 3 of your homes, Lakeview Manor, Helharchen Hall and Winstead Manor, which I'm doing right now. It does take quite a bit of resources. Obviously you convert the cellar, which you normally have anyway, but then you can add this as an additional add-on. So you are going to need lots of special wood, you're going to need the hinges and the nails and all that stuff to carry on upgrading it. The main aquarium is going to require 4 sawn logs, 25 quarried stone, then you're going to need the containers or fishing supplies, the large fish tanks, each one of them is going to cost 1 quarried stone, 1 clay, 1 glass, the smaller fish tanks which require 1 sawn log, 2 nails, 2 glass, then you've got loads of fish plaques which again is sawn logs and 1 nails. Sawwood has to be bought from the merchants. Might be a couple spots where you can actually get it from the windmills themselves, but actually it's usually found by just buying them. I went to Half Moon Mill to buy all mine. You basically need 11 sawn logs to get all of the fishing decorations, plaques and everything else you need for this aquarium area. 28 quarried stone, which you can obviously find in certain areas, or go ahead and buy it. At least 10 nails, 10 pieces of glass, 1 iron ingot and at least 2 iron fittings, 4 pieces of clay, 2 goat horns and 2 mud crab chittins. And not forgetting 1 leather strips. That will get you the mounted mud crab and the wall sconces and some of the plaques. Basically any fish that's inside your food, they go in the large containers and you can only have 3. You can mix and match. The only ones that you can't put in them are slaughterfish for some reason. And any fish that you find in your ingredients, you can put them in the smaller fish tanks. And again, you can still only have 3 per fish tank. Massively disappointed you can't put anything else in here. Would have been nice to really make my own actual fish tanks, put some decorations like plants or other items in there, but yeah, that's the way it goes. The plaques, you can put any fish you want on top of it, although sometimes they're a bit buggy and they won't allow you to place anything, so just exit in and out of the area and they should start working. And there we go, that is pretty much it. All of the fishing missions completed, a rundown of everything that you can earn, and some top tips hopefully how to complete all of the missions too. As I said, this overall took me around 12 hours. As I said, I did spend a bit of time now and then mooching around, maybe fishing in one spot a bit too much or too often, but yeah, that's a hell of a long time to get through a big quest line like this and only receive these kind of rewards. Sure, some of the trinkets are good and I do think the axes are nice looking and they're fairly decent in terms of what they can do, but overall it just feels like the fishing could have been done with a bit more. I feel like they should have made the fish something really special to eat, maybe not just the steamed crab's legs, and that would have definitely helped out in survival a lot more as well. Give me your thoughts on fishing. Did you like it? Have you completed all of them? Then you are a master fisherman, and go and check out all the other guides I've now nearly completed. I think there's only 2 I've not done, which is the undead and maybe backpacks. That's the only creation content I've not completed, so maybe I'll take care of them as well. Until next time, rat bags, laters.